Have you ever stopped to wonder who you really are beyond the surface, beyond the labels, beneath the unseen influences of the world around you? Think about it. How much of your identity is a reflection of your authentic self, and how much of it is a carefully constructed mask, shaped by external pressures? From the moment we're born, we're surrounded by voices telling us who to be. Society, culture, family, all shaping our thoughts, our values, and even our dreams. But how much of what we believe is truly ours? In childhood, we're taught to follow rules. To fit in, we're praised for obedience, not for authenticity. And as we grow, these expectations deepen. We play the roles assigned to us, barely questioning the script we've been given. How often do you feel like you're just playing a role? Smiling when you're supposed to, agreeing when you want to speak out, living a life that feels scripted. We curate our lives online, crafting an image that fits the mold. But behind the perfectly framed moments, who are we really? The truth is, many of us are trapped, not by physical walls, but by the invisible chains of expectation. We find ourselves bound by the need for approval, the pressure to conform, and the fear of standing out. These forces shape our actions and thoughts in ways we rarely notice, quietly molding us into versions of ourselves that fit the world's expectations. Carl Jung, one of the most influential thinkers in the realm of psychology, spoke of the tension between our persona and our true self. The persona is the mask we present to the world, a carefully crafted identity designed to gain acceptance and avoid rejection. But beneath that mask lies the self, the totality of who we are, including the hidden, unconscious parts we often deny. Jung believed that true individuation, the process of becoming whole, requires confronting and integrating these hidden aspects. This means recognizing the parts of ourselves that we've repressed or disowned, and allowing them to become part of our conscious identity. What aspects of yourself have you hidden to fit into society's mold? What truths have you buried to maintain the illusion of belonging? It begins with awareness. Start by asking yourself, what do I believe because I believe it? And what have I simply absorbed from the world around me? Take time to question your habits, your opinions, even your dreams. Are they truly yours or echoes of others' desires? Jung also spoke of the shadow, the darker, unconscious parts of our psyche. The shadow contains everything we reject or deny, our fears, our desires, our suppressed truths. Yet these hidden aspects hold incredible power. By acknowledging and integrating the shadow, we reclaim the wholeness of our being. Peel back the layers, examine the choices you make every day. Are they reflective of your values? Or do they serve to keep others comfortable? Are you living a life that feels genuine, or one that simply meets expectations? This journey isn't easy. Breaking free from the masks we wear requires courage. It means embracing uncertainty and daring to be vulnerable. It means choosing authenticity over acceptance, even when the world pushes back. You are more than the roles you play, more than the expectations placed upon you. Beneath the noise lies your true voice, waiting to be heard. Imagine living a life that reflects your deepest values and desires. A life where you speak your truth without fear. A life where your identity isn't shaped by external pressures, but by your inner compass. So, who are you when no one is watching? And what would it mean to live as your truest self? Your identity is yours to define. The question is, are you ready to take off the mask? Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist and founder of analytical psychology, believed that authenticity is the cornerstone of a meaningful life. But what does it mean to be authentic? And why is it so difficult to achieve? Jung introduced the concept of individuation, the lifelong process of becoming your true self. For Jung, authenticity meant integrating the conscious and unconscious parts of the psyche, embracing both our light and our shadow. This process is not a simple one. It requires deep self-examination and the courage to face the most hidden parts of ourselves. He wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." This profound statement highlights the idea that authenticity is not merely about expressing surface-level preferences or opinions. Instead, it is about uncovering the deeper layers of the psyche and aligning our external lives with our innermost truths. But this journey is not easy. It requires confronting the hidden aspects of ourselves that we often deny or suppress. Jung called these repressed qualities the shadow, the parts of our personality we reject or find unacceptable. This shadow may contain not only our perceived flaws, but also latent strengths and unexplored potential. Yet, in a world that often encourages conformity, many people avoid facing their shadow, fearing what they might discover. But to be authentic, we must face our shadow rather than hide from it. Only by acknowledging and integrating these hidden aspects can we experience true wholeness. By acknowledging our flaws and contradictions, we become whole. This integration leads to what Jung called the self, the complete and authentic version of who we are meant to be. The self is not just a polished, idealized version of the ego, but a profound realization of our total being. This includes both the conscious and unconscious elements, the light and the dark, the rational and the instinctive. Becoming the self means embracing all facets of our personality without denial or shame. So, how can we embrace authenticity in our daily lives? Step 1. Pay attention to your inner world, your dreams, emotions, and unconscious patterns. Jung believed that dreams, in particular, serve as a direct line to the unconscious mind. By reflecting on them and exploring their symbolism, we can gain insight into the hidden parts of ourselves and bring them into consciousness. Step 2. Accept your imperfections. The shadow is not something to be eliminated, but integrated. Jung emphasized that rejecting parts of ourselves only deepens our inner conflict. True authenticity arises when we embrace both our strengths and our vulnerabilities, recognizing that both are essential parts of who we are. Step 3. Live according to your values, not societal expectations. Authenticity means honoring your unique truth. This may require questioning the norms and values you have inherited and discerning which ones resonate with your true self. It is a process of shedding external pressures and choosing to live in alignment with your inner compass. As Jung reminds us, your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Authenticity is not a destination. It is a lifelong commitment to becoming fully yourself. This means continually engaging with the process of self-discovery, remaining open to growth, and having the courage to be vulnerable and honest in all aspects of life. The path to authenticity is challenging, but it is also the key to a life of meaning, depth, and inner freedom. It allows us to experience life with greater clarity, connect more deeply with others, and find a sense of purpose that arises from within rather than being imposed from without. Jung's thinking about the self and its dynamic of individuation separates Jungian analytical psychology from other psychoanalytical schools. He uses the concept of the self to describe his understanding of who we are, and the concept of individuation to describe the process by which we can fulfill our potential to become all that we can be. In the Freudian/Kleinian psychoanalytic tradition, the self is described as a byproduct of ego development. By contrast, for Jung, the self is present before the ego. It is primary, and it is the ego that develops from it. The self retains its mystery. We can never fully know or embrace it because we are dependent upon the relatively inferior ego to perceive it. Perhaps this struggle in apprehension has led to very different understandings of the self's qualities. Jungian analytical psychology sees the self as many things, including psychic structure, developmental process, transcendental postulate, affective experience, and archetype. It has been depicted as the totality of body and mind, the God image, the experience of overpowering feelings, the union of opposites, and a dynamic force which pilots the individual on his/her journey through life. This latter idea is quintessentially Jungian, for even though other psychoanalysts have talked about the self in a similar way, Freudian psychoanalysis still largely sees the self as a structure within the mind, similar to an object representation, and not as a teleological agency. Individuation describes how this agency works. Jung saw it as the process of self-realization, the discovery and experience of meaning and purpose in life, the means by which one finds oneself and becomes who one really is. It depends upon the interplay and synthesis of opposites, for example, conscious and unconscious, personal and collective, psyche and soma, divine and human, life and death. Analysis can be seen as an individuation process. It not only fosters, but accelerates individuation and creates conditions in the relationship between patient and analyst, which offer the possibility for rarefied experiences and transformation of self, which otherwise may not happen. This is because the analytic situation allows both participants to join in a quest for the truth, to express and experience the self in ways which are often prohibited by the compromises made in the service of social acceptance in non-analytic relationships. The concept of individuation is the cornerstone of Jung's psychology. Here are some of the salient features of his thinking on this topic and some of the questions that arise. Jung, 1935, stressed that individuation requires the integration of both collective and personal elements. The neurotic condition is one where the collective is denied, the psychotic where the personal is denied, and archetypal inflation can overwhelm the ego. If someone is over-concerned with his own personal affairs and status, he is in danger of becoming too identified with his persona, for example, the school teacher who is didactic at home, or the analyst who never stops analyzing, living such a blinkered life, focused on short-sighted and egocentric goals, denies the value of the collective. This can lead to a neurotic narcissistic alienation from a deeper sense of oneself and one's place in society. In psychosis, there is an absorption by the collective, where the fascination with the internal world and its processes can lead to a loss of interest in the external personal world of relationships and work. The aim of individuation is nothing less than to divest the self of the false wrappings of the persona on the one hand and the suggestive power of primordial images on the other. Fordham, 1985, described how individuation begins in infancy, but Jung saw it predominantly as a development in the second half of life. In the first half, one is concerned with expanding the ego and adaptation to collective norms, such as building personal social status. When you start this process of self-discovery, you'll encounter resistance, both from within and without. The familiar voices will try to pull you back, urging you to stay in line. But the reward of authenticity is profound, a life that feels whole, meaningful, and uniquely yours. Begin with small steps. Speak your truth in conversations. Honor your feelings, even when they seem inconvenient. Surround yourself with people who encourage your authenticity rather than suppress it. These actions, small as they may seem, will begin to peel away the mask and reveal the person you were always meant to be. Over time, you'll find a new kind of freedom, the freedom to be fully yourself, no longer shackled by others' expectations. You can live a life that resonates with who you truly are. This is the gift of authenticity, a life of integrity, self-respect, and genuine connection. So ask yourself, who am I becoming? And does that version of myself reflect my heart, my truth, and my vision for life? Your identity is not a fixed point. It evolves as you grow, learn, and awaken to the deeper truths within you. And every step you take toward authenticity brings you closer to a life of profound purpose and joy. So take a breath, let the masks fall, and step into the fullness of who you are, unapologetically, authentically, completely. But the journey does not end here. Embracing your true self is an ongoing process, a continuous unfolding of your deepest truths. With each step forward, you redefine yourself and discover new layers of your identity. As you grow, the masks that once confined you fall away, leaving behind a more radiant and honest version of who you are. The world may resist your authenticity, but it is in that resistance that you find your strength. You become a beacon for others, a reminder that it is possible to live unbound by the fear of judgment. By embracing your authentic self, you give others permission to do the same. Authenticity is not about perfection. It is about being real, vulnerable, and true to yourself, even when it feels uncomfortable. It means accepting your flaws and owning your strengths. It means living a life where your external world reflects your inner truth. And as you continue this path, you begin to see the beauty in the imperfections. You embrace your unique journey and understand that no one else can define who you are. Your voice matters, your truth matters. Your authenticity is a gift to the world. In a society that often values conformity, choosing authenticity is an act of courage. It is a declaration that you will no longer be confined by expectations or weighed down by the fear of rejection. Instead, you choose to live in alignment with your heart, your truth, and your vision. And with each choice you make to be authentic, you reclaim your power. You stand firmly in who you are and walk a path that is yours alone.